Good afternoon. My name is Edward Sanshin Oberholtzer. I'm the resident priest here at the Joseph Priestley Zen Sangha. We're an affiliate of Empty Moon Zen. For those of us following the Koan way, Hakuin Zenji is a towering presence who reinvigorated Koan introspection after a long decline, and who classified koans into a number of categories, including those mysterious, difficult to pass, or Nanto koans. Hakuin identified 8 such cases, and scholars of Hakuin have, in turn, identified 10 of the 8. I do love oft-repeated inside Zen jokes. Now, why these 8 or 10, as the case may be, are uniquely difficult is itself difficult to say. Some scholars have observed that perhaps they were simply difficult for Hakuin. We each have our own stumbling blocks in the Koan curriculum, our own spots where a particular story or phrase triggers something within us, bringing us to a grinding, though perhaps fruitful halt. I recall learning that a koan I had just passed was one that Hakuin found particularly hard. My sense of accomplishment was shattered when the next koan, for me, was a barrier that brought me to tears, and not in a productive way. There were a number of cases that stopped me in my tracks. Teachers had told me to prize these. There was something there in each of those stories, something that I should be working on, something that the koan is calling out to me to pay attention to. Here's one such, for me, from the Gateless Gate. It's case 9. Kringrang's non-attained Buddha. A monk asked the priest, Kringrang, of Xingyang, the Buddha of supremely pervading, surpassing wisdom, did zazen on the Bodhi seat for 10 kalpas, but the Dharma of the Buddha did not manifest itself, and he could not attain Buddhahood. Why is this? Kringrang said, your question is exactly the point. The monk said, But he did zazen on the Bodhi seat. Why couldn't he attain Buddhahood? Kringrang said, because he's a non-attained Buddha. Now, this stopped me cold, and not because I ran up against the main points of the koan. No, I couldn't get out of my mind the monk's complaint. But he did zazen on the Bodhi seat for 10 kalpas. Why couldn't he attain Buddhahood? I'd sat on that cushion forever. Nothing had opened for me. Granted, at that point I'd gone through Mu, I'd hit a number of koans, but I knew I'd read that experience of having the bottom drop out of the bucket lurked just around the corner. That one experience, that one turning word awaited. The woman across the room, sitting there on her cushion, she'd had it. I knew that. The guy sitting beside me throughout that sesshin, he'd blown through that extraordinary experience I'd been longing for. 10 kalpas, the entire sesshin, and the one before, and the one before that. Why not me? I'd been diligent. I'd worked at it. Was it always going to be this quiet, simple understanding? Where was all that technicolor? Where was that operatic experience? Well, yesterday morning, I put on my walking boots, took my house keys, my mask, and walked out into the sunlight. I walked down the driveway, checked the garbage can, opened it to assure myself that it had been picked up, and was struck by the lingering smell of cat litter and dead chipmunks. Pulling the now empty though haunted can back up to the house, I set off on my daily walk past houses, fields, and pastures. Once I would have been searching for Buddhahood. Once I'd have been expecting the ground to open beneath my feet, angelic choirs to sing in the heavens. Now I walk with woman's verse. Better than knowing the body is knowing the mind at peace. When the mind is realized, the body is no longer anxious. When body and mind are fully realized, the saintly hermit declines to become a noble. The walk now is done with Queen Rang. Ah, he says, what have you been looking for when it's been here all along? Those of us who have raised children might remember a children's author, Rosemary Wells. She of Ruby and Max. She wrote a plethora of kids' books, but my all-time favorite was a box set of 3 small volumes about the bunny planet. Small rabbits placed in the boring and frightening situations that kids often find themselves in, going off in their imaginations to the bunny planet, with the tagline, "And the bunny queen is Janet." In all 3, Janet points out that no need for imagination or fantasy. You've been here all along. The clouds skittering across the sky, the annoying drivers honking their horns at someone who doesn't have the sense to drive rather than walk, the soybeans and corn waiting to be harvested, the little plastic bags of dog shit, carefully packaged and left on the side of the road, waiting for who knows what or who knows who to come and adopt them. The sense of possibility that the clear, bright, brisk air carries with it, the blister just starting to form on your heel. Yes, feel, live your own Buddhahood. It's right here. While you've been sitting for 10 kalpas, it's been here all along.